Hey, thanks a lot, Jeff. You can talk about Coach Tucker, and he'll go back to maybe LL Cool J and say, don't call it a comeback. 5-7 is something you don't want to talk about, but when you look back at that season, there were some learning lessons. Talk about it.
No, we learned a lot. It's tough when you have a lot of injuries and the next guy has to step up, and he might not be necessarily ready to do that. But you learn from that, and it's going to make us better. Our guys are extremely hungry. We got a lot to prove, and we got a chip on our shoulder.
I hear you, Mel Tucker, with that chip on the shoulder. I don't know if that's from Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Let's take a look at some football from back in the day when they did have some good times. And one of the guys who had a good time was Peyton. I'm talking about Peyton Thorne, the quarterback. That game against Central Michigan, man, he seemed like he couldn't miss any. Matter of fact, he probably could have got a 65-year-old Ronnie Duncan in the end zone.
Yeah, no, Peyton's a good player. He's done a lot of good things for us. This out of season, he's really stepped up as a leader. And we have an open quarterback competition. He's welcomed that. It's been a really healthy situation for all of our quarterbacks. But he's really stepped up. He's an elite competitor.
Mel, let's take a look at that situation. You're talking about 4 young men. You got Peyton there. But the one thing that you probably look at Peyton Thorne numbers and saying, Ronnie, those 11 interceptions, I couldn't stomach that. And then you've got Noah Kim and even 2 others. Talk about the individual and who's going to be throwing for Sparty.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. We still have an open competition that's going to go through fall camp. Obviously Peyton has played a lot of football. He hasn't forgotten how to play the position. He's a good player, and obviously he's going to be a hard guy to beat out. But Noah Kim has gone into games and shown that he can make some plays, and he's done that this spring. Caden Hauser's a young player that we got from the West Coast. Just got a strong arm, and he's really hungry. And then we got Sam Levitt coming in this summer from Oregon, and he's expecting to come in and compete. So
and a 4-star recruit at that. Man, I tell you what, the kitchen gets a lot better. The one thing I can tell you about Coach Tucker, he and I go back, but you know what? You know something about that program as well. They're all talking in Detroit. The mere fact that C.J. Stroud was at the Detroit Lions facility, they had to do their due diligence. But as you were telling me off camera, Ronnie, he's one heck of a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a player. He's a difference maker. He's a guy that can do it all. Every now and then you line up against guys that you say, hey, he's a first-round pick. He might be the first player taken in the draft. And every time I saw him play, I felt like that about him.
I tell you what, when we saw him doing his workout for the NFL, he made all the passes. Anytime you have a guy that can almost throw for 700 yards and 6 touchdowns in one football game, that tells you he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's extremely accurate with the ball. He's tough. He's really, really smart, and he can make plays with his legs when he needs to. So he's a total package. I'm not surprised that everyone in the NFL is checking him out.
One thing you got to check out is this Saturday with my man here, because you know what? You got the spring game, man. You want people to come on out, get this thing here, right?
Yeah, come on out. It's going to be 75 and sunny, and we're going to have a great day of work. Practice number 15 for our guys. We're going to get some live scrimmaging in. It's going to be some good-on-good work. And so we got a lot of new faces, and so our Spartan fans get a chance to see some of the new guys and see how far we've come.
All right, one thing I do know, you like a little baseball, but I don't know if you're all about those Detroit Tigers. They lost 9-3, but my man, Mr. Maton, did you see the home run that he got? It was 3-0. Let's take a look at the highlights. They take on the Toronto Blue Jays once again, and it was that look by Miggy that got me, because when he saw the home run go, he says, whoa, he hit a home run. Come on, Miguel Cabrera, he can do it just like you, but don't forget they lose the game. They take on, of course, Toronto again tonight. It is game 2 of this series. It starts at 7 o'clock. I'll have the highlights or lowlights tonight at 11 o'clock. Once again, for my man, Coach Mel, getting it done. We on camera, man. I'm so glad you decided to do this with us. Ronnie Duncan from Spartan Nation, East Lansing, CBS Sports, CBS News, CBS Detroit.
Go green.
Go green. Go white.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you guys.
All right. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Coach.